Lines of best fit y against x. A least squares regression line is a straight line that best fits the data on a scatter plot. It is used to predict one variable based on another. When we're doing y on x, or y against x, it would be a missing y value that we predict using an x value that we know. It is called least squares because it minimizes the total of the square distances or errors or residuals from the points to the line. In the case of y against x, we're looking at the residual in this direction. That is the gap between the actual data point and the line. And I've got a square here because what we do is we form a square and we work out the area of that square. We then do the same for all of the other points that are on our graph, and then we move the line around to try and get the minimum sum of the squares, which we can see up here on this particular app. So these are called residuals, or it's called errors up here, this gap between the data point and the line in a vertical direction. A bit later on, we'll look at the x against y line, and when we do that, what we'll be doing is looking at the horizontal distance, which is only really easy to draw for that one, and then you would have a square here. So the app shows how it works. The line needs to be placed so that the sum of the areas of the squares is minimized. Hence, that's why it's called the least squares regression. The residual shown, which we discussed just now, is the vertical distance from the point to the line when we're doing y on x, and it's horizontal when we do x on y later on. The square has its sides equal to this distance. We'll discuss that as well. So that's the idea of the least squares regression line. All you need to be able to do once again is calculate it on the calculator, but this is the meaning of it.